Welcome everyone to Crabtree Coaching Collaborative. I have a special guest for you today. I have the one and only Kirstin Brenders, and she helps people leave their 9-to-5 and create the freelance future, the freelance career that they want. And let me tell you about this woman, first of all. I met her at a networking event, and she is the kindest woman I've ever met, but she also has a heart of gold. She's in it to win it, to help support women who are wanting to create their own businesses. And she does it with grace, with ease, and is so intelligent. I'm always learning something from Kirstin. So Kirstin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Wow, what an introduction. And thank you so much.
Oh, well, I mean it.
Kirstin, I absolutely know you mean it from the bottom of your heart. Yeah.
Well, and I talk about you quite often because I get to work with business owners and I love it. And oftentimes we'll be talking about strategic operating procedures. And I'm like, what did Kirstin teach me? She taught me this. And so I'm just so grateful for you. But Kirstin, before we dive into the nitty gritty, tell me, what led you to want to help women create this business for themselves?
I think through stumbling through it on my own accord, like leaving my corporate job and starting to see glimmers of what could be possible beyond corporate. And then over the past 4 years, building it, creating something. But what truly came to calling was being, up and running for 2 years. And I started receiving phone calls or emails from women who were not my typical business niche. They were women who wanted to know about, how did I do it? How did I transfer out of corporate and start a business from my home? One that was about kind of like a life first business model, if you will. But they were curious about my role, or curious how I got into working with the business niche that I was in that they liked. And I really felt like it was probably the eighth call or that eighth conversation where I was like, okay, wait a second. I have something here. There is this other side of me that I always would get so excited and kind of light up from inside about talking through it with them, that I was like, wait, these women just don't want to pick my brain as some of them did. Some of them actually wanted that roadmap. Somebody who actually wanted that person to then help them. They weren't just there for those initial questions, but somebody to be there with them as they had more questions. And so that kind of inspired me to quickly come together and say, okay, what was the framework that I wish I had? And so that is how the program, Your Freelance Future, was created.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Kirstin, I wish I would have known you before I started my own business. Like, I wish I would have met you and been able to get your guidance, because all the mistakes I made in the beginning.
Really? Yeah.
So thinking of that, Kirstin, what are some of the biggest mistakes you made, or what is it that you wish you would have known before you started your own business?
Doing it in isolation is very difficult, because you're kind of wrangling in your mind, you're wrangling in self-doubt. I, for one, was kind of going through a little bit of an identity gap of like, what is it? For so long, and 18 years in corporate, I had a job title that fit the boxes when you're applying for things, or yes, I am employed and this is my title, but all of a sudden my title was a very fluid, if you will. So doing it alone was some of the mistakes that I had, and not being around enough entrepreneurs, like other women entrepreneurs. At the beginning, I saw them online, and it was still kind of post-pandemic for me. So I wish I got myself out there sooner, into networking rooms, into those ladies' luncheons and local events. I wish I did that sooner. And that would be one of the things that I wish I did sooner. And then, of course, working on my mindset from the very beginning. Because once you go down that road, for me, for entrepreneurship, it was actually more about personal development than really truly professional development. So I wish I had a little bit of mindset along with helping me do, take action each week towards what I wanted to create.
Yeah. It really goes into one that I love that you just said, take action, because I think oftentimes we're so scared to take action because it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
But that consistency is key, but it starts with mindset. You have to work. So when you're working with your clients, how do you help them with their mindset?
Kind of separating the one thing for me was like, I should do, right? When I hear that was a trigger for me when I'm like, well, I should do, or, well, I did this in my past, so I guess I could do that now. But it was like, well, does that light you up? And so part of me and part of my program and what I do in that very, very first, 3 weeks, 2 weeks of the program is like narrowing in on your why and what services are you getting called to do? What services can you do? And what services light you up? Because let's face it, to trade out, kind of an energy draining job or role only to pivot and do the same thing doesn't make sense. So I definitely focus in on, yes, you can do that, but is that what lights you up? Is that something that you really, truly want to do? And then we do some work and we do a little bit of an audit on what they can do. And I think it helping them show what is possible and giving them examples of similar women maybe, or helping them go down that path of like, go and research this, like go research this opportunity or this service and see what else is out there.
Yeah.
Well,
I love that, because I think sometimes when we start out with an idea, we get so pumped, so excited, but then we don't necessarily audit what we can do and what we cannot do. What is it that people really want? And so I'm so glad that you do that. I think I could picture the women in your group just having these huge aha moments. Now, tell me, as far as like creating this freelance journey, why do you think so many women stop themselves from doing it? Like, what are those hesitations?
Well, most of the women I'm talking to already still have their 9-to-5s. And I think some have resonated exactly what I said. It was like, I felt like it was a little bit, who am I to leave a 9-to-5 that on paper, everything looked great, right? Everything looked great on paper, but all of a sudden, who am I to leave and pursue something that I'm more passionate about? And I kind of got in that stuck. I stayed stuck for a while thinking, well, that was irresponsible of me, especially, with having a son now. And I should just stay where I'm at, why rock the boat? But that unfortunately kept me stuck. And then that led to, unfortunately, a lot of burnout. So I think for me, with women who are still in their 9-to-5, that's what I say. Start exploring this path now, what this is, and start building a runway of what you can have. And I definitely advocate that you do not quit and just throw away things. Like, let's work on it and let's build that runway and create something now. And then you can test it out while you still have the security of a 9-to-5. Then we go full all into it.
Yeah. My coach always says, like, your full-time job is the best loan that you can have. It's the best business loan. That's how I started my job. I was working my 9-to-5, and then nights and weekends and holidays, I did my side gig until it became large enough to leave. I don't want to say quit, but leave that 9-to-5 job. And so if anyone in here who's watching still has their 9-to-5 and they want it so bad, but they are terrified, do not prevent yourself from starting. Do the research, start a little bit on the side. And the more you work at it and do it ugly, the more that you do it, it's going to start to flourish, and then you can build that dream. So that's so wonderful. Now, I do know money's a factor. Money is a factor. So what are some tips that you have for individuals, whether they've already started full-time or they're still in their 9-to-5? How can they get some quick cash injections? What are some strategies to start building that money?
That's great. I think that's a great idea. So one, for me, people think like, oh, there's a lot that I need to buy all of a sudden. I need a website. I need to buy this. I need to buy that to be a business owner. And I don't believe that's actually the case. I think if you have something that you can, whether that's your time that you're selling or something of that nature, is start selling it now. Like you just need a simple booking link and a way to collect money and a contract. Those are the three things that I advocate for: like a way to collect money, booking link, and a contract. So you can sell maybe an hour of your something. You are really good at something and you can talk somebody through something on a phone call, right? Or through Zoom. Charge for that, right? Or there's something that you can do within 6 weeks, whatever that service-based is, a website or helping somebody else in any capacity, but maybe there's a duration of 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Charge for that time. Yeah. That's what I say. Don't give away things for free just to validate your idea. That business idea, go ahead and get used to exchanging money and getting cash to show you the confidence. Because if you're doing things for free on the side and trying to validate your idea, that kind of that feeling and not seeing the reward come through is going to actually do you a little bit of a disservice.
Yeah, that brings me to like the idea or the concept of founding members, where you can get a cohort if you're still wanting to test it out. Tell them they're going to receive a founding member's price, so you're still charging. It's not for free. Right. However, you're getting some income coming in, and they're giving you testimonials and feedback in return. Yeah. And that's, man, if you have that, you're going to skyrocket. And I love that you said you don't need a website. You don't need a fancy social media. Like you don't, as you start making more money, yes, invest in that to elevate your business. But that you don't need all that at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a myth that so many people believe, like, oh, well, I have to have a very polished website. And I have to say that I was in that boat where I was unfortunately spending maybe too much trying to DIY a website just to feel polished or ready. But it wasn't necessary. So I'm more like go out and talk to 10 people and get that idea out there, then spend, time behind the scenes doing something like DIYing a website, or unfortunately I did this, like Googling, spending too much time Googling the best platform, because there's no perfect tool. There's no best platform. There's just the right platform to get started.
Yes. Someone said that to me one time. They were like, the best tool is the one that you will use.
Yes.
I'm like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It's the one that you will use, but start small. And one of my biggest pleas, audience, this, I'm talking to you, friends, because I say it all the time. If you want to make money fast, you need to get on stages. Kirstin even said, go talk to people. So even if it's not a giant stage, go to those networking events, meet people, talk to people. Kirstin, how are you finding that you get the most clients? Like what strategy is working for you?
Well, this strategy this year has been to, my word of the year was to radiate, to step out from beyond the behind the scenes. I am kind of by default, I love being behind the scenes, but I was stepping into my main character energy this year. And that's why I was very excited to meet you on this journey to kind of help me propel out of that comfort zone. But I would say being able to go into these larger networking events, like that was very beneficial. All of a sudden to have referral partners or women who would drop my name, and even if I'm not in the room with them, because I've been spending that time and building those relationships. But being able to get in front of a group of like 50 women and seeing my email list grow, 30 people in one day, like that to me was a lot, because I've been slowly building an email list. So getting in front of other women and on stages has been helping me grow that side of my business, the email list. And then there's more conversations that I can have beyond just social media or word of mouth.
Yeah. And, and I get sometimes we are afraid, especially if you're still in your 9 to 5, to say it out loud.
Yes.
To say that I'm a business owner now, like this is my business, but no one will buy from you if they don't know you exist.
True.
Like the most visible person wins, and networking and getting in front of people and talking is so important. Kirstin, for people that are afraid to go to networking events, because I've been there, I'm not going to lie. I've been that person that was like, okay, I'm going to this networking event. And I sit in the parking lot and I'm like, okay, just go in. What advice would you give for those individuals who are terrified to network?
Yes. What I teach inside my program, Your Freelance Future, is about that networking and going in with the mindset of you're there to build a connection with one or two people. Don't go all in thinking I have to know the 100 women in the room or people in the room. But you go in there with the intention of, going in with a service mindset of like, who can I connect? Who do I know that these people might need to know? And not just focus on like what I sell. For me, when I started getting out there, I remember, networking was a whole different game because in my, corporate world, it was the same niche, the same industry, same people for so many years. And all of a sudden I was in rooms with way different business owners. But I knew from the very get-go, like when I walked into a space and somebody was already handing me a business card without even shaking my hand or introducing themselves, I knew that was the wrong room for me. And so those were some of the moments of like, oh, I need to find different rooms. Yeah. So if you do go into a networking thing or an event and that wasn't like, that was cringe, or that was like, that wasn't for me, go find a different room. Go find a different room with women like us in it, because we'll definitely not give you a business card and ask you, what do you do? Yeah. We're more of the approach of like, what's exciting in your world? What's going on? And that's the other thing I teach inside of the program is not to, not necessarily be there to give an elevator speech, but to ask really engaging questions so you are memorable, right? You are memorable and not just, what do you do? And this is what I do, right? There's more to networking, I believe, than those types of conversations.
100%. I always take it back, and I'm going to butcher this quote, but it's by Maya Angelou, and it is something along the lines of, people will not remember what you've said, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
Yes. Oh, I love that quote.
And it is, as a former educator, that was like taught to us, like, students, they're not going to remember the antecedents that you're teaching them. They're going to remember how you made them feel. And it's the same with networking. I'm so glad that you mentioned this. And even just pivoting the question, what do you do, to what excites you right now?
Yeah.
Whole new different question, whole new different feeling. Mm-hmm. And they're going to remember you for it.
Yeah. And it doesn't put you on the spot. It doesn't put them on the spot, especially for, like I said, there was that transition for that time where I had a little bit of identity crisis because I wasn't quite sure where I knew what I wasn't anymore, right? My former job title, but I wasn't quite right. I was still figuring out my side of the business, like what I was doing in those early days. And I didn't have a label for myself. So that always put, pressure on me. So I always remember that. That's why I've changed what I ask people.
I love that though. That's such a good lesson. It's a great lesson in networking. And I can't say it enough. Listeners, get out there, talk to people. Kirstin, I got a client this morning from a recommendation from a woman that is not in my niche, but she and I go to the same networking events, and she and I have a great relationship. And she referred me to this woman called me. And I mean, that's the power of networking. Mm-hmm. It's not there to go sell your products. It's there to build relationships.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Focusing on the 1 and 2 people at a time. And yeah.
I love that. Now, you've done this for a while and you've been very successful. What has been one of the biggest obstacles that you have faced as an entrepreneur?
Doing it alone. I think I was blessed when I went to not blindly, but when you know somebody who knows somebody, and they were putting together a workshop, and I thought like, oh, this would be a great workshop to go to, and I went alone, and I am so glad that I did do that alone, because I walked away with a community at that time. So I think trying to do entrepreneurship alone was the biggest task or hurdle, right? And so, but I intentionally want to stay, just a solopreneur, right?
Uh-huh.
I intentionally want to be a solopreneur. I don't want to have a team of people like that. So when you're a solopreneur, you're here alone a lot, and so definitely having building an in-person tribe of women around my online business, because that's where I was when I first started. I was just online, and now I serve women here in Houston and abroad. But initially it was just online. So I think initially getting out away from the computer and reminding myself that I can build relationships and community in person and get offline to build my online business.
Yeah. What do you see that people need to invest in right now? Like, what is, we talked about like, don't spend money on your website and stuff like that. But what is the investment that you recommend they make right now?
Getting in community or getting a mentor, having a mentor or a coach to help them go through a transition. I know I did that, like I said, as I tried to do things on my own, and eventually going in and being like, no, I definitely need to have a mentor was game changer. And spending time and resources within a community was game changer. So that is where I think investment should be going, not on tools or tech or fancy business cards. I think it is into your personal development and your professional development. That's where I would say put your resources.
Yeah. I will always say, I will always have a coach. I will always have a coach. And I remember when I was first investing in a coach and I wasn't making any money, I was terrified, Kirstin. I took out my teacher retirement. I had a contract I was lucky to have enough gigs to sustain me for a year, but I was terrified. I'm so glad I did. That was the best investment I ever made because it multiplied my business so fast. So I know, Kirstin, you have opportunities for freelance owners, for women who are ready to leave their 9-to-5. Maybe they already have. You have an opportunity to help them. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Yeah. So the program that I created, as I was saying, was Your Freelance Future. And it is a program and a community. So there are women inside as a group, very small group. I keep it small being intentional about it, so those relationships can form. And we're all in there doing different types of businesses. So you're not comparing yourself to, say you're coming in for speaking and then there are all these other women doing the same business as you. You might get into a little bit of comparison trap of them getting up and running before you. So we're doing things differently. And I like to, in 12 weeks, we work together on creating your idea and at your pace. This is not, a cookie cutter program that will force you to do anything you don't want to do, but we do it at your pace. And we create your idea. And if you need to stay in that think tank, that incubator of market research, like one woman I'm helping, we've been talking about things, and she just put something out there in the world. And she's like, well, it took me long enough, but I was just like, you weren't ready yet, but now you are. Right. And it looked so great. What she put out there looked so fantastic. So that is the opportunity that I have, is a 12-week program. I'm doing it as a group starting September 22nd.
Okay.
And that's perfect for somebody who really wants to start testing the waters, getting their idea out there so they can land clients in the start. If you want to have clients in 2026, you got to start now, right? Yeah. And so we'll get started September 22nd, and then we'll be able to wrap up December 12th, because then that's just right in time for the holidays and before things get a little, hectic.
What you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Kirstin, this is such a great one. You are adding so much value to the world because you are helping women launch the business that is going to give them their financial freedom. It is going to give them their security. It is going to help them live out their dreams and not be stuck in the what you should do's type mentality. And so I love this. And twofold, they're getting a coach and a community.
Yes.
Like, I cannot even tell you how beautiful and important that is for every person starting on this journey. Now, you have a little giveaway with it, right?
I do. Yes.
Tell us about the giveaway.
Yes. So I, just like you, scared about investing in a coach, scared about a mentor. I know I knocked on 3 different coaches' doors before, and always just the cost of it was always just like, oh, I can do it on my own, right? And I would just keep white knuckling it. And so I want somebody to have the opportunity to gain a mentor, gain this community, and have a free spot in this program. And so I'm doing a giveaway, a scholarship, if you will, within the 12-week program. And so the fun thing is that it is open right now for enrollment, early bird, and that giveaway chance is open right now for enrollment all the way up until September 8th. And then I will announce that one lucky winner on September 10th after reading their application form and then having a meeting with them to get to know them, make sure that I'm in sync with what they want and vice versa, that they're in sync with the community that I've created. And then I let the lucky winners know by September 10th. And of course, then we'll get started September 22nd. So anybody who maybe found out about my program after that time frame, there's still a chance to register and get involved before September 22nd.
Yeah. Guys, this is a great offer. Like, this is huge. So I want you right now to go into the show notes, and click the link to apply for this opportunity. Apply for it. Join Kirstin's program. Let me tell you, if you are ready, maybe you're just thinking about it. You're like, I really want to start this business, or you've just started out. This is for you. This is what I wish I had. Kirstin wishes that she had, and she's created this opportunity for you with a coach and a community, a great think tank. So go to the show notes. Now, Kirstin, where else can people find you?
LinkedIn and Instagram is where I'm active as well. So Instagram my handle is kirstinbrenders.co. And then on LinkedIn, you can search, and you can use my name right here, search Kirstin Brenders on LinkedIn as well. And you can find me there.
And your website, kirstinbrenders.com, yes. Excellent blog posts, excellent resources. Go to her website. But Kirstin, thank you so much. And before we leave, what's just one thing you want everyone out there to know today?
One thing. Oh, gosh. Your voice and what you have to offer and what you feel called to do, you deserve to put it out there. There are people out there that need what you have, and don't think it's selfish. Don't think that you are changing your mind. If you all of a sudden or if you do change your career, you're not changing your mind. You're evolving, and you are allowed to evolve, and you are allowed to create something new in the world.
Beautiful, Kirstin. See, guys, I told you she was amazing. I told you. Thank you so much for joining us. And gosh, just what Kirstin said, you're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to. So I hope you have a wonderful day, everyone. And until next time, I'll see you later.